The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. To you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live this Wednesday, Hump Day, September number 27 in the year of our Lord 2017. It is also the Intel Report day coming up a little bit later this morning. You don't want to miss that. The call-in Hot Rod line number is 603-835-3226. An amazing week. I mean, can liberals make it any more clearer than where they stand as far as as it relates to this country? Who was it? Somebody was. Folks. Oh, Bill O'Reilly. Now, I'm glad to see that some of the big talking heads are starting to come around. And warning. But I have been saying this for years. Bill O'Reilly has just come out and said, last night? Who was he? Who was he on last night? But he basically, what Bill O'Reilly said, that the end game of the Democrats is to write a new constitution for this country. Now, I've been telling you that for years. I've already known that's their end game. And if they were to ever to get their way, this would definitely no longer be the United States of America. It would be the end of freedom. There would be no liberty anywhere on the planet. Nobody marshaling to stand up for freedom. As a matter of fact, if we had these liberals in charge back during World War II, if we had today's liberals, like Sheila Jackson Lee and Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, if they were in charge back during World War II, we would have lost World War II. I guarantee you. That's how bad it is. And understand that it does not matter. I mean, I know some of you are saying, but Rod, they are such the minority right now. Nobody's paying. Well, yeah, everybody's paying attention to them because they're forcing people to pay attention to them. Isn't that fascinating? And I know we blame the lamestream media for giving them a voice, but it's not really. Well, we're still to blame for the lamestream media. Why are we to blame for the lamestream media? And a lot of people are thinking, well, Rod, we don't like the media, man. Yeah. Well, why are they still broadcasting? There are still enough people who claim that they don't like the lamestream media who are watching the lamestream media. They have ratings. And understand the ratings are not just coming from fellow lamestream left-wing dolts. The NFL, Monday Night Football, is down to its lowest ratings point since 2006, down another 11%. So if the lamestream media took media hits like that, they would soon. Well, I know I've been told before. Well, look, nobody watches CNN, Rod. They're still on. Yeah, I know. I get it. CNN, the entire network gets as many viewers as some other channels, especially Fox, gets for a single hour-long program. I get it. So where are they getting their money? Well, CNN's a different story simply because they get paid just for being on cable. This is the other reason why. What is it? Sling TV? Isn't that like a cable-esque type of service that allows you to pick your networks? You're going to see some fight back on that pretty soon, by the way, because people are cutting the cable cord because they're tired of getting a bunch of channels that they don't want. Now, from my understanding is now not only are people cutting the cord and going to Netflix and Hulu and similar services like those, I think Amazon Prime, but they're also now picking up the Sling TV thing. Is it Sling TV, Sling Blade, whatever it is? But I think that now, I don't know much about it. I'll admit it. I don't know a lot about it. Now, from what I've read about it, I guess their basic service for Sling TV allows you to pick your 20 networks for their base subscription price, whatever it is, like $20 a month, $19.95 or something like that, I think it is. It sounds pretty interesting. Now, I haven't actually gone over there to investigate it, but if this is true, if it actually allows you, because I've seen the commercials, if it actually allows you to pick your top 20, your favorite 20, and of course, obviously you can pick more at higher price levels. But how many people are going to pick CNN? Well, if nobody's watching CNN already, and the only way that CNN... See, folks, we are being forced into so many things, to support so many things, without us even realizing it, because I'm going to say it, because we're too ignorant, and we don't care to find out. And we ask the question, well, if CNN has got such dismal ratings, how is it still standing? How is it still on the air? Well, it's like ESPN. Simply by, even though you don't watch it, but simply by paying your cable bill every month, that goes to help support CNN. Ask ESPN, with people cutting the cable cord, how many subscribers ESPN has lost. Now, the misnomer is that all those people are obviously, ESPN has lost millions of subscribers. Now, the problem with ESPN and how they figure out their numbers is, first of all, they're getting a lot of money. What was it, like $7, $8 per subscriber? Now, that doesn't mean that those millions of people have been watching ESPN, because they haven't. I don't watch ESPN, but I'm paying ESPN every month through my cable subscription bill. I don't watch it. Same with CNN. I don't watch it. So with people cutting the cord, look, folks, I went for a long time without having cable TV, so it's not like I can't do it. And that's before I had the option of Netflix on demand and Hulu. I mean, I didn't have cable when all there was Netflix, a DVD, and Blockbuster. Now you got Apple TV and Chromecast and a few of those other alternative TV boxes. And you got a plethora of choices. You don't even need cable to get some of the cable channels. I mean, like HBO. I don't need cable to have HBO anymore. You get HBO Go, right? And I'm seriously considering And the reason why I got cable and I've kept it is simply because they gave me such a stupid, ridiculous price, and they keep giving me this stupid, ridiculous price. I mean, it's still pretty damn expensive, but they still give me this stupid, expensive price, where if I keep cable TV, my internet is a hell of a lot cheaper. So in other words, it's let me give you an example. They may have changed. I have not looked it up in about a year. I usually revisit this every year around this time. So it's time for me to review my Comcast cable again and see if it's still worth having it. But usually when I call up, they give me such a ridiculous promotional price. But if I drop cable TV, the internet alone is going to be more expensive than the internet plus cable. I mean, I know it makes no sense to me either, except for the fact that this is how cable networks keep networks like CNN and ESPN on the air. Because if you can get the internet and overpay for it for 60, 70, $80 a month, because that's what they're going to charge you if you don't get cable TV. But they'll charge you $60 a month if you have both, or $70. I'm like, what? How does that make any sense? Well, here's how it makes sense. Because it keeps all these networks on the air that otherwise would not be there. The reality is that providing for your internet service doesn't cost a cable company a whole hell of a lot per month. They make a wicked, as we say here in New England, wicked profit off of your internet service. Bandwidth is used. It doesn't mean anything. You use too much bandwidth, man, like on a cell phone, and they're going to slow you down. The bandwidth doesn't mean anything to a cable company. It's always there. As they keep increasing speeds, that's just an upgrading. That has nothing to do with standard operating procedure. That's just every time you go to do maintenance or improve your service because you want to be viable, speed gets better. The reality is that what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep you from cutting the cable cord because they have these contracts with all these cable companies like ESPN and CNN and Headline News and other networks. Now, because folks, the reality is that people who cut the cable cord, because there are some networks, I think ESPN is one of them, where you can subscribe to ESPN services sans cable. But nobody's doing it. ESPN is losing millions of dollars a year. And they're putting pressure on cable companies to keep the subscription rates up because, look, they've had how many people did they have to? It was hundreds of people that ESPN had to lay off not too long ago. The reality is that those kinds of pay for play types of networks are on the chopping block because people don't want to watch them, and that is how they're staying active and viable. Because otherwise you're thinking, well, who watches ESPN? Okay, main ESPN, okay, but who watches ESPN 2 and ESPN 3 and ESPN Spanish and ESPN this and nobody. Well, how do they keep them running? Well, they keep them running. Who watches CNN? There have been days or weeks when they've had their average viewership has been less than 400,000 viewers per day. How does a major network stay on the air? How do they get advertised? We always ask, well, how's anybody advertising? If they're advertising, it's got to be really cheap. Well, they're able to stay on the air simply because your cable company is paying them. It may only be $1 or $2. I mean, they're not all like ESPN that gets major bucks on that, but that's enough. You got 1 million subscribers, $1 a month is $1 million per subscriber. Is it not? Well, that's how it works. I think of ESPN, they were getting $7 or $8 per cable subscriber. times millions of cable customers that had ESPN on their system. That's how they're staying afloat, folks. But most people don't realize this. They scratch their head and ask the question, well, I stopped watching, Rod. I don't get why they're still on. Well, they're still on because you actually technically haven't stopped watching. So when we start doing that, start paying attention to what we're actually watching and listening to and not watching and not listening to, and how these things are getting paid for, then that's when we're going to start seeing some real changes. You want to start seeing some changes in the NFL? Well, hit them in their pocketbook. It's not just TV ratings, but you can't support the NFL anywhere. You can't go out and buy the jersey of your. I know people are out there supporting Villanova from the Steelers. You can't do that. Why? Because a good portion of that jersey shirt doesn't go to him; it goes to the NFL. And I realize that people want to support it, but it's just like keeping your cable bill and expecting CNN and ESPN to go away. They're not, as long as you're still subscribed to your cable company. You want the NFL to change or go away? They're not, if you keep buying people's jerseys just because you like their name or what they stand. You can't buy them. They're not going to. They don't get a huge cut from that stuff. Believe it or not, the players don't get unless they're huge stars, which he is not. They don't have their own separate deals. They get a pittance. It's like Sesame Street. You know, toy companies pay a premium to have a toy branded with Sesame Street on it. Well, that crap doesn't go to your PBS station. You think it does, and it doesn't. It goes to a children's television workshop that owns and produces Sesame Street. So, you can't, you've got to cut them off where it hurts. And if you think that just not watching them on TV is going to really hurt them, not really. Not when they have all these other streams of income, just like CNN and ESPN. If you think not watching CNN is hurting them, it really isn't. Because they have back channels that they've built in that you've got to pay attention to. I'm not being negative and saying that boycotting doesn't work. I'm not one that ever gets into boycott. So I'm just telling you, if you want to cut the financial cord, you've got to do it all the way around. You can't do it in one area, because the reality is that many times the area that you think that you're attacking is not their biggest or only source of revenue. And trust me, the NFL can survive on endorsements and licensing fees and all that other kind of stuff. So you got to stop. That means you probably got to stop buying Nike. Oh, I got the story here on Nike, too. You got to stop buying Nike. That's what it means. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Welcome back. Well, there's I'm trying to get away from this NFL controversy crap because I'm just done with the NFL. But it's hard to stay away from it. I get dragged. People are still asking me questions about it, and they're, well, isn't that your favorite team, Pittsburgh Steelers? Yeah. And I keep tweeting that I tell them I'm done. Now, I was asked about this. I had not seen this rumor or statement about Budweiser. Now, understand, Budweiser is no longer an American beverage. It's not. It's owned by a Spanish brewer. Actually, it's a Spanish Brazilian company combo. But anyways, It was taken over a few years ago by a hostile takeover because the Bush family was pretty stupid, as far as they always thought they didn't need to have full control over the stock of the company. Well, it turns out they did need full control because some other foreign country came in and hostile take. That's how Budweiser was sold. It really wasn't sold. Hostile takeovers is a legal corporate raid or a legal theft. Well, I mean, it's if you're going to have the stock out there, somebody can buy up all your stock, and that's exactly what was it? InBev, I think is the name of the company. InBev, I think, is the one that hostilely bought out the controlling stock of Budweiser, and then they were able to take it over simply because the Bush family, because some of them were just too greedy, and they put all that stock out there, and they no longer had controlling interest in stock of the company. That's what happens when your company goes public. Doesn't matter whose name is on the door. So in my book, Budweiser is no longer an American beer. And they've made some change. The good old. I think they're down. The one team of horses. The big Clydesdales. I think they're down a team. And this came after InBev took over. Just see if you want to get upset. But anyway, there is a rumor out there about Budweiser pulling their advertising from the NFL. Now, Snopes says it's not completely and fully true. I know it's Snopes, but it's the first place that I go to in order to begin my research. Anheuser-Busch, owned by InBev, I was correct, did not announce that they were ending their relationship with the National Football League. A spokesperson for Budweiser confirmed that the company had no plans to end its sponsorship of the league. This rumor is false. However, as I continue to snoop past Snopes, Bud Light NFL team cans, it looks like Budweiser is not going to be pushing them this year. Again, this is fluid. Don't know how true all of this stuff is, but we'll keep on top of it and keep on investigating.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Six 603-835-3226. That is the hot rod line that you can utilize during the show for the next 2.5 hours. One of the problem with Budweiser is that Bud Light, the Anheuser-Busch entered into a sponsorship contract with the NFL until the year 2022. They spent nearly $1.5 billion to do it. So Budweiser really can't. There's very little Budweiser can do when it comes to NFL controversy, because when they did this a few years ago, they didn't think that they'd be running into this kind of controversy. This was before Colin Kaepernick started taking a knee. Whoever thought that the NFL. Well, I mean, there were some people that thought the NFL was going to go downhill, but the majority of people who thought the NFL would have been the place for politicization. But I got a story here too about the left politicizes everything. But who would have thought that the NFL would have been a hotbed of politicization? No, nobody really would have thought of this a couple of years ago. Just a short couple of years ago. When Anheuser-Busch renewed its contract, basically its sponsorship agreement in contract with the NFL to the tune of nearly $1.5 billion. Now the problem is that the NFL has also got to deliver on the viewership. It's got to deliver on the fans. Now I'm sure that there are clauses in because contracts like that are very complicated and very long, but I'm sure that there are clauses in there that means that the NFL has to deliver a certain number of viewers and fans in order for this the money that they're paying for Anheuser-Busch to be paying the NFL to be viable. So that is going to come into play for sure. But does that mean that that Anheuser-Busch can back off on its sponsorship? When you enter multi-year contracts like that, it's very difficult. There are very narrow ways of either side getting out of it. So there isn't going to be much wiggle room for Anheuser-Busch until the year 2022, at which time either the NFL needs to get its act back together or they may lose Budweiser. I'm just saying. So at this particular juncture, the whole notion that Budweiser is dropping the NFL a spot, they really can't. So Snopes is kind of accurate on that, but not for the reasons why they're stating. Because they have this long contract through 2022, which only gives them very narrow scopes of escape on either side. Now, if the NFL can't deliver a certain number of fans every week or certain ratings every week or what have you, then I'm sure Budweiser can void the remainder of their contract or get a refund. The NFL, there are people worried about the NFL having to give out refunds. DirecTV is already giving out refunds for people of the NFL Sunday Ticket because of all this. This is unheard of. Basically, it's DirecTV is a cable company. Basically, I know it's satellite, but for all intents and purposes, it's another kind of cable company. And you don't get that from they don't give refunds on stuff like that. It costs them a lot of money to give a refund. That's why they don't. Well, evidently, DirecTV, if you've got the NFL Sunday ticket and you want a refund because of all this protesting so early in the season, evidently DirecTV is giving out refunds. So I would contact DirecTV if you have NFL Sunday ticket and you want to drop it and get a refund. Now, I don't know the full details because I don't have... I remember I back in the early 2000s, I did have the NFL Sunday ticket because I did have DirecTV where I lived at the time. It made sense to have DirecTV over cable. And I got the NFL Sunday ticket, and we bought it 2 years in a row. I had it. Loved it. Got to see the Pittsburgh Steelers every Sunday, anytime I wanted to. It was also like $140 but every year, but it was worth it to me at the time. So I don't know what it costs now. It's probably like $150, $160. But if you've got the you can get a refund. And they're saying it's because of this nonsense. And you've got Nike out there who are backing the players, saying, well, the players have a right to protest because they don't give up their First Amendment right to protest anything. Well, first, let me clarify something for folks. Let's get down and dirty about the First Amendment. As a matter of fact, let's just get down and dirty about all the amendment, all the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Let's get really clear with this stuff. Now, the Constitution is directed towards government. Your local, your county, your state, and your federal government. That's what all the 50 state constitutions and the federal constitution, it all attacks government. Now that there are certain rights that do affect you in your private life, such as in certain laws that affect certain constitutional bill, amendments, and certain laws do affect your private life, like, based on discrimination, basically. Those are that's everywhere, not just government. But when it comes to freedom of expression, and even your Second Amendment rights, carrying a gun, it only covers government. Government cannot prevent you from expressing your beliefs. Government is not supposed to prevent you from owning a firearm. Now, when it comes to private property, a private property owner can say, well, I don't want you having a gun on my property. They have every right to do that. It's their property. So if a restaurant says, well, we don't want people carrying guns here, either open or concealed on our property, they have every right to do that. If they say they don't want you smoking a cigarette on our property, they have every right to do that. You do not have a constitutional right to other people's property. Because by the very notion of the Constitution, every person, including you, has a right to be secure in their own effects, including their private property, real estate. So you do too. So if you want people to carry a gun on your property, that's fine. But if your neighbor wants to be a gun-free zone, that's their right too. Now, by that same token, when it comes to expressing your opinion, you have every right to express your opinion without recourse from government on public property. You do not have a constitutional right to express your opinion on private property. You do not have a right to express your opinion that differs from your boss's opinion on company property. So for the NFL players to take a knee and to protest on NFL property while being employed and wearing the uniform of the NFL, no, they don't have a right to do that. If the NFL says you're going to stand, then they have to stand. Well, no, Rod, no, if they don't want to stand because they can't do it, they can quit. They don't have to work for the NFL. Understand something very plain and simple here, folks. I don't know how many times I got to keep telling people this. The NFL is a business. It is the same as a McDonald's or even a Nike. Those players on the field, although most of them are extremely well paid, they are employees. Every single one of them. I don't know of a single player on the field today that is a part owner of any team. They're all full employees. So frankly, when it comes to them putting on the uniform, is stepping onto that field, they're on private property. Unless the stadium, of course, is owned by the municipality. And in most cases, they're not. The municipalities and the states put a lot of money into them, but they're still private. They're public-private partnerships. And the private part says, no, you don't get to do that. Try protesting and saying anything, or even holding up a sign that the NFL doesn't agree with at a stadium and see if you don't get booted. People have been booted. Plain and simple. You do not have a right to protest on the NFL field if the NFL doesn't agree with you. And the NFL has every right to do, if you do so, to fire your ass. I don't care how big of a star you are. Now, Nike is wrong when they come out and support the players by saying, well, they have a right to take a knee and to protest if they want. They don't. Not on company property. You go to Nike headquarters and see if they're going to let employees on Nike property protest something that Nike doesn't believe in or stand for. And watch Nike come out and say, either you stop it or you're fired. Hell, they just might come out and say you're fired before they say stop it. They just might say you're fired, now get off the property. And if you don't, that's trespassing. Which, by the way, trespassing in many states is a big deal. It's an arrestable offense, and I do believe in all 50 states, but it can be a big deal in some states. You know, you can be shot for trespassing legally in many states. Just saying. Trespassing, this is how you know that we're a nation that believes in private property rights. You can shoot people for trespassing. I mean, that's how serious it is. I mean, we don't normally do that anymore, but there was a point in time where, it was, especially, heading west of the Mississippi, it was pretty normal. Get off my land. If you don't get off my land, I'm going to shoot your ass. And they did. And it's still pretty serious. As I said, I do believe in all 50 states, trespassing, if you're caught and there's a complaint by the property owner, it's an arrestable, it's not a ticket, it's an arrestable offense. So you're going to kneel on the field, and the NFL tells you to stand up and you don't, and they fire you and you're still kneeling. That's trespassing. Hell, the security personnel could actually pull out their gun and shoot you at that point. People need to understand what the Constitution is and isn't. First of all, it is not a list of negative rights. It is a list of limitations on the government, not the people, the government. It specifically details what the government can do. It doesn't detail what you can do or what you can't do. It details what the government can do. And it details what the government cannot do. The government cannot make any laws that limit the freedom of expression on public or government-owned property. And government-owned property is public property. The government can't do it. Constitution specifically forbids it. Every American has the right to bear arms. As much as they try, and state by state, the Constitution really says they can't. So, and there are many other constitutional amendments in the Constitution itself, the main body, that give the power to the people. And this power has been stripped and stolen over time by leftists and by big government bureaucrats, including some in the Republican Party. People don't understand fully what it means to have rights. You don't have a right over somebody else's private property. You don't have a right to protest on somebody else's property. If you work for somebody, if they're paying your salary, you have to toe the line as long as it's not anti-constitutional. In other words, if your employer is a KKK member, they can't force you to join the KKK. I mean, they can't do that. They can't force you to be a bigot or a racist or anything. But they can keep you from protesting on property, being pro. You know, I'm just going to say it. If your boss, if the owner of the company that you work for, is a Grand Ku Klux Cyclops Klan member, and you go to work and you put in your cubicle that you're all for the NAACP and you're for gay rights and all that kind of stuff, believe it or not, you cannot protest that stuff. You cannot protest, against the KKK on property, especially if he's a KKK member. He can fire you. Now, you can protest out in the street, but, be aware that, like the NFL, there are a lot of companies that have this written and unwritten rule that you shall not, at any time, embarrass the company on or off company property. It's why a lot of people get fired if they get arrested for a serious offense. Now, you're probably saying, well, should they get fired for just being arrested? Probably not. But if you get convicted, even if you don't go to jail, a lot of people will get fired from their job because why? It's an embarrassment to their company. And the written and unwritten rule is that if you embarrass your company and put the company in a bad light, you're representing your company even when you're not at work. A lot of people don't understand that. So if you do that, you can lose your job. Legally, in all 50 states. Because you don't own if you own the company and you fire yourself, that's a different story. But you don't own the company. See, it's not your property. When you work for somebody else, you got to toe the company line, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it that bad, that much, then you have every right on earth to quit. That's your only recourse.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face and sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Don't get me wrong, I fully understand, even though I don't want to keep harping on this NFL thing, this is a highly important issue. It's not just that it's highly charged, it's highly important. Because we are seeing firsthand, folks, exactly where the left resides, where the left's priorities are. The left's priorities are, and make no mistake about this, is anti-American as we know it. They are coming out and saying they do not like this country at all. Not the way we were founded, not the way that we rose to power, not the way we currently live. They don't like it. They are at complete odds with the vast majority of the American citizenry, but they don't give a damn. They are more than willing to ride roughshod all over the American people. You don't like the NFL and the NFL players kneeling? Well, you're a racist, bigoted homophobe, and you need to watch it anyway, and we're going to do it. You're screwing around with our national pastime, and we're supposed to be okay with that. And the NFL brass, Roger Goodell et al., they're so mamby-pamby, wimpy, scared of the left that they're going along with it. They are willing to actually lose the NFL in order to be able to stand up and say, well, we took the right road. No, you're going down the wrong road. It's not the right road. This is why this is a huge, hot topic. Otherwise, who really cares? Other than the fact that Donald Trump mentioned it, which is why now all of a sudden so many are getting involved. Because, hey, we're going to defy Donald Trump no matter what because we're anti-Trumpers. We hate Donald Trump. That's what this is all about, folks. This is about big government, anti-freedom, anti-America versus the rest of us. Make no mistake about it. The left has drawn the lines. They've drawn the line in the sand. And the NFL doesn't have the brass kahunas, let's face it, Roger Goodell et al. in the big back office of the NFL don't have the big brass balls to stand up against the defiant anti-American left. And for that, they are going to lose their fan base. As well they should.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole. If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Welcome back to the Anti-Government Intrusion Force. I am the leader of the Anti-Government Intrusion Force. That's right, I am yours truly, Elrod, the definite one who is not, shall we say, of political compliance. Yes, I'm That means in layman's terms, I'm politically incorrect, and proud of it. Here it is. Welcome back on this Wednesday, Hump Day. September number 27 in the year of our Lord 2017. The hot rod line number that you can use for the next couple of hours is 603-835-3226. I know I keep saying the time seems to be flying by, but do you folks realize that it is September 27 already? I mean, honestly. And we've had three successive major hurricanes make landfall on the United States territory in the past month, in this month alone. I know there are people that are glad to see September go because of that, but the whole thing about government is supposed to be there to help society as a whole to stay on track. Can somebody tell me, if you're in a ravaged Floridian town where power in some neighborhoods is 80% out still, and not all of your businesses are back up running because they don't have any power, why would you enforce anti-food truck ordinances in your city who are feeding the very workers, trying to feed the workers that are cleaning up your city and getting your power back on? Well, that's what's happening. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but this is what's happening in a town in Florida. Florida town booted food truck offering meals to hurricane survivors after a nearby restaurant complained. Government over, what is it? Back during at the end of the 60s, when all this crap really started, we had something like 70,000 pages of regulation. We now have over 170,000 pages of regulation. So I guess what we need here is, that's just at the federal level. It's not at the state and local level that have also seen said types of increases. So I guess what we need here is more government regulation and intervention to fix things that the government broke. What we don't need is less government regulation, because let's face it, government doesn't break anything, because government never does anything. That's New England speak there, anything. Never does anything wrong. They never get it wrong. And when government does on the rare occasion get it wrong, just rare, they're able to quickly fix it. That's what people who believe in government think. Really, they really do think that. People who are really into big government, they really do think that it does, and not just the United States, folks. It's not just the U.S. of A. It's all over the world. Government is the answer. And they also believe that only certain people are qualified to be in government. And if you're one of those people that they don't believe is qualified, like Donald Trump, they'll do everything in their book to try to get rid of you. And if you're too big and too famous, they obviously can't kill you. But if you're not too big and too famous, they can make you disappear. And they have. And so what we have today on the Intel report this morning. Yes, indeed, is really about big government, overbearing government, government too big for its britches, government that thinks that it's always right, government that thinks that you, the citizen, is always wrong, and that government that thinks that you, the citizen, needs government in order for you to just breathe on a daily basis. Good morning, Agent 0010. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Rod. How are you doing today?
I am blessed and highly favored still.
And still, grooviness.
Yeah. Yes. So what we have... Thanks, Dom. American conquistador. Yeah, well, weren't they kind of brutal?
Yeah, just a little bit. That's part of my Spanish ancestry that I'm really not proud of. I mean, it's just a complete decimation of the Mesoamericans. Sorry.
Well, you know what? I'll take that mantra there. If it means the complete decimation of the left in this country, I'll be a conquistador. If I have to be brutal to do that, then, yeah, I proudly wear the mark or the rank or whatever they were. Give me the armor. Hey, they dressed well. Their armor was cool.
I'm telling you right now, the conquistadores, they were the fashionistas of that era, okay? Okay, we got a lot today, so I'm going to get right into it because knowing you, Rod, you're going to be like, you're going to have a lot of questions. So let's get right to it. Now, first of all, as we all know, Angela Merkel has won a historic fourth term. Now, I don't get that. You would think she's like, oh, yay, yippee, yay, I'm awesome, Hillary. Hey, I did something you couldn't even think about doing. I mean, I didn't do it just one time. Sweetie, I did it 4 times. I win. Hillary, you suck. Well, guess what? Hold your horses. It's not that great a news for Angela Merkel because the far right has won a precedent 100 seats. Now, not only is this a far right group, okay, but it's an organization called the Alternative for Germany. This is a brand new political group.
AFD, yes. Brand
Spanking new political group. I'm talking about they were formed within the last maybe 8 to 6 years.
Yeah, and one of their bright stars is an openly lesbian woman who is anti-gay marriage. Go figure that one.
Well, you know what? Listen, I'm pro-gay marriage because to me it's like, you know what? Why should straight people be the only ones to suffer through marriage? Forget that. No, you want equal rights? Okay, you're going to suffer equally with me. Okay? There you go. End of story. So this is a brand new political group, and they've won 100 seats in parliament. So the leader of this organization, Mr. Alexander Garland, has said it straight out. He vowed that they will hunt Angela Merkel down. This is something that has blown everybody's mind away because the German people have spoken. So you have cities such as Munich, such as, let's say, Berlin. Okay, very much open border, left-leaning and everything else. But the rest of Germany said, oh, no. Oh, no. There's going to be a check and a balance in this situation. Because, let's face it, Angela Merkel has gone through Germany. She's rode roughshod, passing all her agendas through with very little resistance. There really wasn't any checks and balances in place. Now, there is. Now, the sad part is that a vast majority of the Muslim and Jewish citizenry of Germany are worried that this is the rebirth of the Nazi Party. Well, here's what they don't seem to understand, that the AfD, they are very pro-Jewish. They're saying, no. Are you a German citizen? Yes, then your religion has nothing to do with anything. What our problem is the open border policy, the taking away from a German citizen to give to a Muslim who was not born in Germany, who is not a citizen. They just crossed the border. In fact, there's a story in Germany that came out where a woman was told, lived in an apartment for 30 years. She was told, you have to evacuate your apartment because we're going to give it to a Muslim family. So the AfD wants to put a stop to this.
Wait.
What?
They evicted somebody who's been there, who's paid her bills on time, who's lived there for most of her adult life. Why? What is the reason behind that? Because the apartment was too big for one person, maybe?
And they want to give it to a Muslim family, a 2-bedroom, and she was using one of the bedrooms as like an office. So it's 2 bedrooms, a living room, and a kitchen. That's it. It's too big for her. She has to leave the apartment, and they're going to give it to a Muslim family.
Okay, so put it in terms that people can understand in this country. Well, New York City, you're a single person. All you can have is that loft. The no bedroom, 600 square foot loft. That's all you can get because you're only one person. If you get married, then we can double the space and give you 1,000 square feet or 1,200 square foot loft with a separate bedroom. So now you have a bedroom and you have a living room, and then once you have kids, you can get a bigger. That's ridiculous. Who's gonna stand by and put up with that kind of nonsense? Do they really expect the German people to put up with this?
Well, it seems so, and now it's finally backfired in their faces. So the AfD has turned around and said enough is enough. Now, tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. You ready, Rod?
Go.
Germany first. Does that sound familiar?
No, it's not Germany first. It's world first.
But remember how we're saying Americans first or America first?
Mm-hmm.
The German people have finally caught on to this concept of America first, except they're saying Germans first. They don't care about your religion. Are you a German-born Muslim? Yes. Do you abide by the laws of Germany? And are you willing to abide by the laws of Germany? Yes. Okay, you're good. That's it.
Didn't President Trump clarify that in one of his recent speeches? Well, is it basically the UN, wasn't it? When he said, hey, it's America first in America. It's Canada first in Canada. It's France first in France. There's nothing wrong with it.
Rod,
I agree. There's nothing wrong with it.
Rod, stop. Okay, stop muddying the waters with facts and truth. Okay, just stop that. Okay, I mean. You know as well as I do that that's just an irrelevant factor. The truth is irrelevant. It's what people think is what matters, okay? So stop that. Angela Merkel right now is caught between a rock and a hard place. So she's going to have to start playing ball with all, I mean, the Alternative for Germany, that's just one of the conservative groups or conservative political parties of Germany. So now Angela Merkel, she's got like 2 or 3 political parties that are conservative that she has to work with. So basically, her open border policy, her liberal leanings, now she's going to go in check. Now she has to start actually doing her job. And her job is to protect the German people and to expand the German economy, which really doesn't need any more expansion because they're basically the loan shark of Europe ever since this whole situation that happened with the economic collapse that's happening to so many European countries. So yeah, Germany's been the loan shark or the pimp of Europe because their economy is so powerful and so strong. So she has to start working on the protection of the German people because the German people are also tired of the EU, which is...
Uh-oh. Somebody didn't like that. Did we lose? Did we lose? I think we lost the agent. Hopefully he's safe. He's not in a car or anything, right? This isn't a bad Tom Cruise movie, right? I hope not. Think we got him back. Are you back, agent?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Where'd I get cut off at?
We kind of thought maybe that you were caught in the middle of a bad Tom Cruise spy movie, but you were talking about Angela Merkel now has to do what she's supposed to do per her constitution by helping and protecting the German economy and the German people because of the EU is basically you got cut off at the point where you're going to rant on the EU, probably taking Germany's money and spreading it all over the place.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Okay, now this is where I'm going to get to the good parts. Point number 2 today, Roger Stone. He met with the Intelligence Committee yesterday. And before he did that, Mr. Stone has been demanding that this hearing be held in a public forum, that it's a public hearing, that it's not behind closed doors. Now, for those who don't know, Mr. Roger Stone was the Trump campaign political advisor. And he's decided to point out that there was foreign collusion during the 2016 election. And Mr. Stone has turned around and reaffirmed what I have been telling you and all the listeners, Rod, for months now, that the problem is that the country involved was the Ukrainians working with the Clinton campaign. And his words are also followed up by that he demands a public hearing. So the Democrats are fighting against that. They want it held behind closed doors because it seems that they fear what Mr. Stone has to say and the proof and the evidence that Mr. Stone has at hand. So,
well,
go ahead.
I don't, unless they have something to hide, which we know that they do. Why would you openly want to have closed door here? There are no secrets there. They've already spilled any possible secrets that there are. Yeah, Russian collusion. I mean, there's nothing secret there. It's kind of like the secret. We're all just waiting when Mueller is going to hand down the indictment for Manafort. I mean, everybody's expecting it. There's no secret there. So why would you not have hearings, public hearings, there should be public hearings. Why would you not have hearings that are of this importance to the country behind closed doors when there's no secrets being discussed? And if something does come up where there is a secret involved, then it's easy just to say, okay, we'll take an adjournment, discuss it in the judge's chambers, and then come back. They do that all the time. Why keep this closed door?
To ask that question is to also ask, you should also ask another question. And that question is, everybody knew that Paul Manafort was going to be brought in front of this committee. Everybody knew that Paul Manafort had to turn in evidence. Everybody knew that Paul Manafort not only that he have to turn in evidence, but that his systems were going to be searched. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Then why did the FBI feel necessary to go to Paul Manafort's house in the middle of the night, pick the lock to his front door and then storm his house?
Because Paul Manafort is the new Scooter Libby.
Well, I thought you were going to say he's the new Tom Cruise, but okay. Anyway, in one of his spy movies where he really sucks. Anyway, so he wants this to be public. The Democrats don't want it to be public. They are the ones that are saying, no, Mr. Stone, you're going to come in front of us at closed doors. He goes, no, I want open doors. I want the press and I want the public to know. The Dems and the Republicans are like, well, okay, we have no problem with that. Oh, no, we have a problem with it. Because there could be sensitive classified material that would be released. And, of course, the old fallback. Oh, sensitive classified material. Well, you weren't that concerned about sensitive classified material when we were talking about Hillary Clinton's server. Now, were you? No, you weren't. But now it's Roger Stone who's going to throw few Democrats under the bus, and now you're concerned about classified sensitive material. You can't have it both ways, Sparky. If you're concerned about classified sensitive material, then you're concerned about it all the way through, not because certain people are involved. So therefore,
I think that's what.
Really,
it really is. It has to do. Well, do you think that they would? Well, it really does depend on certain people involved. I would like to think that they would probably want closed doors if they were trying to have hearings on Hillary Clinton. Most Republicans would want them to be open, but for some reason, it seems that it doesn't matter how many people, how many Republicans are in the majority, how many by numbers, how we have the majority. It's always the Democrats that seem to get their way. I just said, can you hold on till after the break? We're coming up against the hard break stuff here. And we'll get into more of this after the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back, folks.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank.
We trust you about as far as we can throw you.
You know, it is often said that things done, evil is always done in the dark. Well, it's done in the dark because they don't want it to see the light of day, because most people have some light in them, have some good in them, and they can recognize evil whenever it shows itself. And this is the same thing with wanting all of this stuff behind closed doors, because the American people are not stupid. They get it. They get the dark. They understand it. Which is why I guess these things can't be done in the light.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The most politically incorrect black man in America. You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And welcome back. Yes, indeed. Politically incorrect is my middle name. For good reason. Because political correctness is actually dangerous. And it leads to all kinds of... Well, political correctness actually leads to war. It really does. I mean, think about it. If... Understand that we're told that we're supposed to be all nice. Well, let me give you an example. North Korea. Donald Trump talking tough with Kim Jong-un has the left, all up in arms saying, oh, he's going to talk us into a war. What do you think political correctness has done to this point? How did we even get here? How did Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il and his and Kim Granddaddy, how did they get to the point where they could even think that they have the ability to challenge anybody? Because you had a bunch of politicos and politicians throughout the last 50 or 60 years that were politically correct, that did all the right things, and they took it to the UN Security Council, and they took it to the UN, and they tried to be diplomatic with the Russians and the Chinese when dealing with North Korea, and they tried to be diplomatic in all phases of their conversations with rogue nations like Iran. And how Iran was dealing with North Korea, and how they were sharing information, and we were being politically correct. All the while, we had other nations, even including France, who's out there being politically incorrect behind our backs, and we're supposed to think that by being politically incorrect, that's how we get into wars. Do these people? Well, yeah, these people really do think we're that dumb. They really do. They really think that they're that smart, which is why they're out there trying to do some of this stuff behind closed doors. Because, the reality is that these people really don't believe that you're that stupid. Because if they did, then they'd be more than willing to have all this stuff happen out in the open, because they'd be able to twist it and turn it any way they want to. And the reason why they realize that they can't have it out in the open is because as much as they've tried to dumb down the American people and people in the West, period, even in Western Europe, they haven't been able to totally, completely dumb us down enough where we would buy all of their BS. I mean, that's a good sign that they still think that they have to do things in the dark, because they realize that we're not that stupid. Or Agent, do I have that wrong?
No, you're pretty much spot on. Hey, can I do something? I want to be a jerk. I really want to be a monumental jerk right now. Can I do an impression of someone?
Okay.
I'm going to be a jerk. Warning, disclaimer. I'm
Kim Jong-il?
Monumental jerk. No, an American.
Oh, okay.
An American. I'm going to do a Cernovich. Okay?
Okay.
It's just been brought to my attention that in August, the New York Times has reported that North Korean long-range missile tech is being supplied by a Ukrainian firm. I reported on this months before the New York Times. They are stealing from me. They are not giving me my credit. They are just taking all my glory away from me because I'm so much better than the New York Times. So therefore, I think that the New York Times owes me an apology this very instant. I'm not going to put up with this nonsense. Oh, God, I feel dirty now. Let me stop.
That was actually pretty good.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, Dom. Anyway, I love Dom. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. If and when I grow up, I want to be just like Dom. And I'm not kidding either. I'm not being facetious. I'm straight up honest. But anyway, okay, here's my third story. The Ukrainian government has arrested 3 North Koreans. Okay? These 3 North Koreans were spies.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay.
The Ukrainian government has arrested 3 North Koreans in Ukraine?
Yes.
Okay.
Gets better. It gets better. 3 North Korean spies have been arrested in the Ukraine by the Ukrainian government for supposedly stealing ICBM tech. The 3 men went there hoping that either they could buy the tech or steal, the diagrams and so on and so forth. Well, and I've reported that the Ukrainian government that Ukrainian firm, a Ukrainian company, has been selling the ICBM technology to the North Korean government. And I've reported on this, 3-4 months ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when the company was confronted by the Ukrainian government, have you been selling this stuff to the North Koreans? The company said, no, we haven't been doing that. Promise. And that's when the Ukrainian government arrested these 3 North Korean spies. Here's the facts. The fact is that these 3 North Koreans did leave North Korea, and they did go to the Ukraine under the premise of buying this technology. And it was an agreement that was already reached between the North Korean government and the company. This agreement has already been achieved. Was anything in writing? Would you put that in writing? No, you would not. It's a simple case of give us cash, we give you the technology. Done. That's what the case was. Of course, there's no paperwork. So now when the Ukrainian government asked this company, did you sell them this? No, we didn't sell them anything. Oh my God, they stole that from us. These 3 guys got arrested. Well, guess what? Of course, the North Korean government is going to keep up the premise that they sent their people over there to steal this stuff because they want to continue having a good relationship with this company. They'll take the blame because they don't care. That is how the North Korean government works. We don't care what you say to us, what you blame us for. We're going to do what we do. End of story. And if you don't like it, we don't care either.
That's too bad.
So that's
so we have 3. Well, I mean, well, I'm going to be a jerk here myself. It's not going to be all that difficult to pick out 3 North Koreans in Ukraine.
No, it's not. But you'd be amazed how many Asians are in the Ukraine. I've been to the Ukraine. I have been there several times. And you would be surprised how many Asians actually live in the Ukraine.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never been there, so I don't know their diversity factor, but it would seem to me like that they'd stick out like a sore thumb. So it's not like they could be real spies and hide unless they were pretending to be tourists. How do these people think that they're not going to get caught? Now, what about the collusion scenario that we have with Iran and North Korea? We have North Korea that that has been giving Iran certain technology that Iran couldn't get on their own because of sanctions, and technology that Iran is then reciprocating to North Korea that North Korea couldn't get because of sanctions. Is there collusion? Is there cooperation really real? And what are the now, since the Russians really do the Russians really have it in good with the Iranians, or the Russians? Unlike North Korea and China, do the Russians not have that much influence over Iran?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that you asked that question, because here's the fact. A report had come out that confirmed that there is collusion between Iran and North Korea, and that they were working together to enhance each other's goal of having a nuclear arsenal. And this was confirmed by Lieutenant General Patrick O'Reilly during a committee hearing or a forum that was held at Capitol Hill. According to General O'Reilly, it had been going on for years before he informed the forum. General O'Reilly, if you want to know, is the head of the Missile Defense Agency in the United States. Now, guess when he informed this forum at Capitol Hill about this collusion and this cooperation between Iran and North Korea? Take a wild guess when he did that.
Probably sometime during the Obama administration.
Yeah, 2009.
Oh, that's going back a few years.
So since 2009, which is the beginning of the Obama administration, they have positively known that the Iranian government and the North Korean government have been working together to create a nuclear arsenal for each other. Now, it goes back further than that, because if he knew about this in 2009, that means that they've been working on this for quite a while now, basically since the Bush administration. So when Obama steps in and he says, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create sanctions on Iran and North Korea. Well, this is why the sanctions didn't work. And here it is. It's very simple. North Korea, you're not allowed to do A, C, and E. You're not allowed to do that. But Iran, you're not allowed to do B and D. Okay, we're not allowed to do that, but they're allowed to do that. They're not allowed to do that, but we are. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to follow the sanctions, okay? And then we're going to bring our stuff together and boom. So these sanctions that Obama and John Kerry and Hillary Clinton and the rest of the Obama administration, they created, all they did was push these two countries together to cooperate and create this missile system. That's all they've done. Okay, North Korea put a temporary hold on their rocket system. And then Iran put a temporary hold on their uranium processing concept. So these two countries got together. North Korea made friends with a Ukrainian weapons company for the rockets, because you notice Iranian missiles are not flying, but their uranium processing has developed rapidly, as opposed to
they're very good at we know that they have quite a bit of enriched uranium sitting, even if they don't keep spinning. They still have a bunch of it already.
Exactly. So these two countries have come together. Okay, North Korea with its connections, and you have Iranians with their connections, and next thing you know, the Obama administration helped these two countries become closer friends. That's all he did. Even though it was already happening before he came along, okay? I mean, it's like if you and I were just acquaintances, and then all of a sudden here comes somebody that pisses us both off. Now we've not gone from just acquaintances. Now we're BFFs. And that's exactly what's happened between these two countries. They were passing information, getting along, so on and so forth. But then that friendship was just solidified through the Obama administration, and this is what we have now. So now, mind you, I am not going to just put the blame on the Obama administration. I'm going to put the bite on the butt also on the Bush administration and the Clinton administration. These three administrations have let us down immensely because of this process that's going on between North Korea and Iran.
Well, I don't. How is all of this playing into? Well, I know how it's playing into certain games, I guess, if you want to call them games. But this game is extremely dangerous, not just for America. It's dangerous on a worldwide level, is it not? I mean, it's putting every single person on the planet in jeopardy, including the wonderful, backwater, Stone Age little tribes that are hidden deep in Africa and in Australia and South America. Is it not?
We're looking at the possibility. Now think about this. The Iranian government turns around and they can create a missile system that can take out, let's say, Israel, or if they want, Turkey, because they're not getting along with Turkey all that well themselves. They can create a missile system that can take out these countries. Now, if they can do that, they can also have the capability of making this explosive, this nuclear warhead, smaller. They can do that. They would be capable of doing it. Does it have to be delivered by a missile? No, it doesn't. No. It could be put on a crate, on a ship, headed to any country in any part of the world.
Oh no! Wait! Let's hope this movie scenario doesn't come into practice. What was it? Patriot Games or no? Not Patriot Games. But one of those movies where they packed a dirty uranium bomb into a vending machine and sent it to the Super Bowl.
Well, I got news for you. A vending machine is big enough. It is big enough to actually put a small-sized nuclear warhead in. It is big enough. I mean, a nuclear warhead is not a small thing. It is not small. It is a very complicated, technological, advanced process that is involved in detonating a nuclear warhead. And the whole thing about putting it in a suitcase, I'm sorry, that's rubbish. That is complete and utter rubbish. Will it fit in a vending machine? Oh, you damn skippy, it could. A small enough one can fit in a vending machine.
Well, considering vending machines are getting a little bit bigger and the mechanisms to actually make them work are actually getting smaller because of electronics, there's a lot of empty space in there.
Well, not only that, but it doesn't have to be just shipped by the Iranians. Hey, Hezbollah, you're our buddy, you're our friend. We got something for you. Would you like to buy it? Or Hamas, you're our buddy, you're our friend. Or let's say North Korea, hey, China, guess what we're going to give you? We're going to give you a shipment of vending machines. It's our newest technology. Tell us what you think about it. And then you have vending machines blowing up all over China.
Well, that's unfortunately that's a real life scenario that could, if people, I just don't think that people actually understand how fast the future is coming on us, and things that even just last year we thought were probably improbable or impossible or at least 100 years off are now less than a decade away. So it's
Rod, when I was at the agency, I was very much for looking for weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I was very much for it. In fact, I was very much involved in it. And here's why. A weapon of mass destruction can fit in a teacup, but kill hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, biologics. Yes.
So that is what people seem to miss out on.
It has to be a mechanical device like a bomb in order to be a weapon of mass destruction. It can't be something as small and tiny as anthrax, of which this country went through a massive fear of for a few years. Everything was anthrax, right?
Yeah, people were getting anthrax delivered to them in the mail. The mail.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be scary times, but yeah, we have the ability to confront these things. If we just refuse to be politically correct, then we can confront them. Because otherwise, if we're going to be politically correct, we can't confront anything. Another great report from Agent 0010. Thank you so much, Agent. And as always, sir, please stay safe.
I try. I don't always succeed, but I try. And sorry if I was too much of a jerk, and if I hurt any Cernovich fans' feelings, get over it. Tomorrow's another day. Okay, Sunshine? Y'all have a great one. Take care.
Talk to you later. I did. Weapon WMD isn't necessarily always a missile, and that's the only thing that they ever focused on. And even after we went through it, through the whole anthrax, constant anthrax scare, and that was real fear. But we don't consider that to be a WMD, do we? No. I guess the capability of North Korea having a small nuclear weapon is not possible. Oh, it's not possible until it is, which means that it really is possible.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
One of the things that America used to be very good at is having products, not services, but products that stood the test of time. Much like the ancients used to build structures, buildings that are still around 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years later. American companies used to build stuff that wasn't throwaway. And we seem to be exporting some of that technology, both purposely and not so purposely around the globe. And I say that because I have this this pipe cleaner that my father once owned by the W.J. Young Machinery Company out of Peabody, Mass. The only problem with them is that company's now out of business, but I still have their pipe cleaner.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, Talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Rod Eccles Show, already the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio, is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Good to have you along for this Wednesday, September number 27 in the year of our Lord 2017. It is unbelievable that we're already in first of all, we're more than halfway through the week, and that we're already in hour number 3 here. It's just, time flies when you're having fun. You know, I mean, it really is. This whole thing that I have here that is an old tool, it's called the Clean Ream. Now, that's Kleen, and Ream is spelled Reem. And it originally sold for, I think it was back in the day, less than $10. But today it's, I guess they have some vintage ones out there. You can find them on eBay anywhere from like $20 to $50. That's good to know I have something that's worth $50. But they manufactured these things for quite some time. But evidently, the original company, the original W.J. Young Machinery Company, no longer exists. But it's not totally defunct from what I can understand. It is used to be located in Peabody, Mass. Now, for the rest of you, it would be Peabody, Mass. Massachusetts. But they don't know how to pronounce things here in New England, so they call it Peabody. Yeah, I've gone over this before. I would like to see if if there was a town in the United States, especially here in New England, that was actually named after North Korea's capital, Pyongyang. How would they pronounce it here? How would they pronounce Tokyo? Well, we Americans already mispronounce it by calling it Tokyo. It's not Tokyo. It's Tokyo. Even in the American sense, the English sense, it is still Tokyo. Not Tokyo, but we all say Tokyo. I don't know why. Well, any more than why we call Leominster, any more than we call Worcester or Worcester, Worcester. There is actually where is the town? There is actually a town called Worcester. It's spelled that Wooster. Worcester. But that's not the case of Worcester, Mass. There are places called like Worcester. I guess they don't pronounce it Worcester. It's Worcester. There's Worcester College. There's many places that are named. There's in Connecticut. There's a Worcester School. I guess it's a prep school in Connecticut, but it's spelled Wooster. Now, Worcester, Mass. is spelled Worscte. Well, you get the point. It's not spelled Worcester or Worcester, but that's how they pronounce it. I love New Hampshire. I love northern New England. I really do. And most of Massachusetts Massachusetts is really a beautiful state too. And so is Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a gorgeous state too. Well, obviously because it's got, so much ocean front, but I know some people are waiting for me to say, well, Connecticut's gorgeous too. No, not really. Eastern Connecticut is very pretty. I mean, if you go to I've been to Eastern Connecticut, which is closer to, obviously, towards the Rhode Island border. If you're in that part of Connecticut, you don't even realize you're in Connecticut. It's not what you think of Connecticut as being. It's not really a part of Connecticut, but it is. Eastern Connecticut is beautiful, but the rest of Connecticut is just it's a pit, basically. It really is, in my personal view. And I know there are people who are going to be upset that I call Connecticut a pit, but look. Western Massachusetts is gorgeous too, but you get into enclaves, Western and Central Massachusetts, beautiful. But you get into enclaves like Worcester, or you get into enclaves like the Springfield, Chicopee, Holyoke area. Those are pits too. But for the most part, almost the whole of Eastern Connecticut is a pit. You've got Danbury, Hartford, Waterbury, New Haven. All those places are just if you actually go, they're terrible. They really are terrible. I mean, they're just they have some. Well, Connecticut as a whole is having some troubles. Not just Hartford, Connecticut, but Connecticut as a state, they've got budget problems galore, much like Illinois has, and Chicago has budget problems. But look, I call it as I see it. I still have not been to the majority of my own country yet, but I've been all over New England. There's very few places in New England that I have not been. And there are not many places in New York State I have not been. And I've been in many places in Pennsylvania. And I got to tell you, I've been to California and Florida and the Carolinas and parts of small parts of Texas, because Texas is so damn huge. I've been to a good portion of California, Central and Northern California. Gorgeous country out there. Too bad it's in California. Seriously. The Central Valley, where you can get fresh oranges off the trees and pistachio nuts off the trees, and to see the giant redwoods and other giant trees, and go see the General Sherman, and and San Francisco is even very pretty. San Francisco is a beautiful. If you're looking out across the bay, if you're like say in Sausalito, California, looking across the bay, you really do think that you're looking at a coastal Mediterranean city. San Francisco across the bay is beautiful. It's a beautiful city. Again, it's too bad it's wasted in San Francisco, California, but it is. It's gorgeous. And that really doesn't have anything to do with the liberal government. It's gorgeous in spite of the liberal government. I mean, think about that for a second. Connecticut is just in ruin. But Eastern Connecticut is beautiful in spite of the rest. The people. I'm surprised there isn't a movement in Eastern Connecticut that wants to secede and become part of. I don't know who they become. Were they going to become part of Rhode Island? Rhode Island is almost as bad now. Providence has its bright spots. It really does, but the surrounding cities and towns of Providence are not doing very well. And remember, Rhode Island was once considered one of the most corrupt states in the Union. They had governors and mayors and state officials going to jail left and right, much like not Chicago, but Illinois. How many Illinois governors ended up in jail? There were quite a few over the past half century or so. Has seen at least three of them, right? At least three Illinois governors go to jail. And most of these people, believe it or not, they're Democrats. Again, you got Democrats always pointing the fingers at Republicans and conservatives for doing this and doing that and being corrupt here and being immoral there. The reality is that most of the people that are getting caught and going to jail even are not Republicans, but somehow that's okay. We let that slide that it's Democrats that do a lot of this damage. It's Democrats that are doing the damage to this country. And yet you got people like Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan up there in Washington, D.C., or down there in Washington, D.C., that think that, the American people aren't going to really stand for us being too conservative, which is a bunch of bullshit because we keep electing more and more conservatives. Well, at least we keep electing more and more Republicans, which should tell them that we're not standing behind Democrats and their liberal mantra and their liberal BS and their corrupt liberal ways. We told you we wanted you to repeal Obamacare, and you guys can't even do that. You've had 7 years to come up with something. And you're telling me that you're going to let one or two Republicans, John McCain and McCaskill and Snow, are going to be the ones that always throw a wrench into things. How about you boot them out of the party? Now, I heard, who is it, the senator from Texas, Louis Gohmert. I heard Louis Gohmert talking about possibly recalling John McCain. Well, there's no provision in any state or in the federal Constitution to recall, which is a problem. Before senators were elected directly by the people of each state, they were appointed in some fashion by their state, either by the legislature or the governor of the state. And in which case, if they were really screwing up that badly, the senator could be recalled by their state, could be fired. But then when they changed that back in the early 1900s, they removed. I hate to say this, folks, but technically speaking, we stopped being a full republic at that point. Do I need to go over a history lesson? You people who are out there who are liberal, who don't fully understand how this country was founded, let me tell you exactly how it used to work. Before, what was the that amendment that changed? Was it 19? It was after World War I, right? Was it 1917, 18, 1920? I don't remember the exact date that the amendment was passed. But here's how it goes. Before this amendment, House of Representatives, called the People's House for a reason, because that is where the people directly elected their representatives from their district. The people were represented in the federal government by the House. The House was the equivalent. They were equal to the Senate. The Senate was made up. This is how people got their say and got represented. Was in the House. Was it? Yeah, they were, they had to be from within the state. The districts are drawn within every state, but this is how the people were represented. This is why one of the main successors outside of the vice president of the United States becomes president is the people's representative or the Speaker of the House, because they are more directly elected by the people. Not the Senate. The Senate was originally designed to make all states equal, thus 2 senators. The House was to make people equal, thus districts, with roughly the same number of people in every district. So the people were equal. The Senate was to make the states equal, giving the states a representative. The states, not the people of the state. The state was represented by the senators. Those senators, based on the differing states, was either not elected, but was appointed by the state legislature or appointed by the governor, depending on how the state's constitution said such state senator representative was going to be appointed. And then you had, through the Electoral College, making everybody equal again, as equal as possible, electing the chief executive, the president. So you had the people being represented in their various districts, equal districts, by the people, directly elected. You had the interest of the people was protected in the House of Representatives. The interest of the state as a whole was protected via the Senate, whose senators were appointed 2 by 2 by the states. And then you had the person that represented the whole of America as elected by the whole of the population, the president. A true representative republic. And then you had a bunch of liberals that threw a wrench into that, saying, oh no, the Senate should be elected by the people too, removing the interest of the state. Do you possibly think that if we had a true republic still, that Obamacare ever would have been passed? Well, no, because most states would have said, well, this is detrimental to the state. Forget the people, to the state. We're going to get screwed. And many states have been screwed. So the senators of those states would not have passed Obamacare. This is why, and this was a plan of Woodrow Wilson to change the very fabric of our nation. If you don't think that liberals cannot change our Constitution, look at what Woodrow Wilson did. He completely changed our republic by removing the official republic status, by taking the interest of the states out of the federal government. Liberals.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
603-835-3226. I'm not done with this. We actually really even haven't touched the paper pile yet this morning, but we'll have to get into that next segment, as well as I will continue my rant on what to do about the Senate and bringing back our republic, our true republic. But right now, it is that time in the show, that period in the show where I bring you today's holidays. Yes, the holidays for Wednesday, September 27th. Actually, it's just holidays for September 27th. September 27th doesn't always land on Wednesday. So just holidays for this day. Today is Ancestor Appreciation Day. So get out there and appreciate your ancestors. Unless, of course, your ancestors are racist, bigoted, homophobic, anti-Jew, anti-Antifa people. If your ancestor is an anti-Antifa person or an anti-BLM member, I don't know why they call it. It sounds like a disease, BLM. It sounds like like you got to go take a crapola, bowel movement. Anyway, it is Ancestor Appreciation Day. It is also, if you've noticed on Twitter, I think there's a hashtag for this one. It is National Chocolate Milk Day. Not chocolate ice cream, but chocolate milk day. Now, can chocolate milk become chocolate ice cream? Yeah, I guess. Melted ice cream doesn't taste very good because it's got too much cream in it, and it's not. No, that's why it's called ice cream. But it's National Chocolate Milk Day, and it celebrates the chocolate sweetened milk. And of course, you can get it in many formats and many kinds of chocolate. It's also that I don't think chocolate milk goes very well with this one. But it's also National Corned Beef Hash Day. Does chocolate milk go with corned beef hash? I wouldn't think it's a really good combo, but some people might like it. But Corned Beef Hash Day is today, along with it being National Crush a Can Day. Whatever happened to, I guess you crushed a can before you recycle it? Oh, by the way, to go along with National Chocolate Milk Day, it is also World School Milk Day. Not World School Chocolate School Milk Chocolate whatever School Day, School Milk Day. It is it's just School Milk Day. It is also See You at the Pole Day. Yes, where you where students, schools, they go to the flagpole. And now many public schools today, the flagpole is not even flying a flag, let alone the U.S. flag. So it's not even flying the flag. It's also National Gay Men's HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, as well as National Women's Health and Fitness Day, as well as World Tourism Day. Gay men's, AIDS, whatever. Just go out there and be healthy. Why can't we just have a World Health Day? Or we probably already have one of those, don't we? But hey, go to your pole today at your school with a bottle or can of chocolate milk and then crush it on that can on your head after you're done drinking it.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin.
This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
603-835-3226. That is the call-in number that you can utilize in order to call the program this morning. Here's a story from the Washington Examiner. Record $135 billion a year for illegal immigration, which averages $8,075,000 each, $25,000 in New York State alone. There was a survey that was done. More than half of Americans are unaware that illegal immigrants have rights. Not many. I mean, they have human rights, yes. The swelling population of illegal immigrants and their kids is costing American taxpayers $135 billion a year, the highest ever, driven by free medical care, Obamacare, education, and huge law enforcement bill, according to the most authoritative report on the issue. Well, hey, if we follow Donald Trump and just start booting them out when we catch them, then that annual bill is going to go down. Despite claims from pro-illegal immigration advocates that aliens pay significant offsetting taxes back to the federal, state, and local treasuries, the Federation for American Immigration Reform reported that just $19 billion, making the final hit, that $19 billion went back into the local, state, and federal coffers from these illegal immigrants. The final hit to taxpayers, over $116 billion annually. So they're not contributing all that much, are they? Not to mention those that are illegal that are contributing via taxes are doing so by why? How? By what? Doing what? Yeah, identity fraud, identity theft. How else do they get a Social Security number if they're illegal? They're breaking another law. Just saying. State and local governments are getting ravaged by the cost at over $88 billion. The federal government, by comparison, is getting off pretty easy at just $45 billion in costs for illegals. And most of that is going in the form of fraud. What fraud? Oh, yeah. Those illegals getting federal assistance. based on fraudulent Social Security numbers, i.e. identity fraud. You know, if an American citizen is caught with committing identity fraud and getting government assistance, they go to jail. They go to jail. So state and local governments are getting ravaged by the cost. President Trump's Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the conservatives in Congress are moving aggressively to deal with illegals, especially with those with long criminal records. But their effort is being fought by courts in some 300 so-called sanctuary communities that refuse to work with the federal government. Well, how do we know that what these numbers are? Well, there are a number of different studies that they put together on an annual basis that studies this stuff, not to mention the number of actual people that we know are illegal immigrants in the country. And we're basing it on the numbers that we think, not fully understanding that the actual number is probably higher. So if the number is based on, let's say, 11 million illegal immigrants currently residing within the United States, many people think that number is higher. And the funny thing is that the government seems to know this number because that's how they're able to plan on paying for them. No, they got to pay for the educational cost. They got to pay for the medical cost. So the government has an idea of how many people are here illegally. And that gives them an idea of what it's going to cost the taxpayer every year. So, I mean, I know a lot of people ask, well, how do they know all this stuff? If they know this stuff, why can't they do anything about it? Well, the point is that they do know about it. The federal and state governments know about it. Local governments know about it via their school system because they know how many kids are part of an illegal immigrant household. They know. They have to know because it's got to be a part of their annual school budget in order to take care of those kids, especially in the big cities that have all these wonderful programs that give the kids free breakfast, free snack, free lunch, and now free dinner in some places. They got to know. They got to know their numbers. They got to know where their kids are coming from and what kind of households they're in. So the government knows just by simply tracking and paying attention. Because they have to know, because they got to know how much money they need to spend. It's not hard. Which is why it's not hard to find illegal immigrants, most of them. First of all, you start tracking down people you start tracking down the illegal use of Social Security numbers. Now, it's not difficult for the Social Security Administration to do cross-checking and say, wait a minute, how is this person working already when they only died like 10 years ago? So even if we did reissue this Social Security number, first of all, we wouldn't reissue it so soon, but even if we did, they wouldn't be 30 years old. So there's a problem. Let's track this person down. If anything, it's for identity fraud, even if it isn't just for... look, we have so many ways of tracking people. It's not difficult to track down an American, is it? You know, we get people that... sure... We seem to be able to find the FBI's top 10 most wanted people in the country easier than they claim that they can find an illegal immigrant. I mean, really. I mean, this is how ridiculous this is. We can find most illegals pretty damn easily if we just use the laws. We don't even need any new laws. If we just utilize the laws that are already on the books, we could track down most illegal immigrants pretty easily. You could find them at their workplace or at their residence, wherever they're living. We'd be able to find them it wouldn't take very long. The problem is that we have a bunch of municipalities, and now even some states, that refuse to follow the law. And they follow the law because there is no repercussions for them. Well, how about we start arresting and prosecuting these municipal and county leaders for obstruction of justice, because that's what they're doing. Now, regular American, if they try to hide somebody, a fugitive, well, they go to jail for that. There's a number of laws that you'd be breaking if you were harboring a known criminal. You know, obstruction of justice, harboring a criminal, or just two of the charges that you'd be charged with. And both of those, as well as some other charges that they throw on top of it, could land you, and probably would land you behind bars for a significant portion of your life. So this whole notion that we cannot track down and find people is basically due to that we have people in government that we elect or that get appointed that block justice, block government from doing their job. Well, these people need to be arrested, charged with the same kind of crimes that everyday Americans would be charged with. And some of them, if found guilty, need to go to jail. That would put an end to this nonsense. But we don't have a government that, not even in Donald Trump, we don't have a government that is brave enough or strong enough to do it. If I were president, that's the first thing I'd do. I'd start using the Department of Justice to start Rahm Emanuel, perp walk. You got to do that kind of. It might be unpopular in Chicago, but you got to do that kind of stuff. I guarantee you that if you perp walk people like Rahm Emanuel and Governor Jerry Brown for obstruction of justice, you would be guaranteed to win re-election. Sure, Chicagoans and Californians wouldn't elect you, but many Californians would vote for you just because you got rid of Jerry Brown. But I don't know about Chicago. Chicago's overwhelmingly liberal, but you might garner some people outside of Chicago, and the rest of the state of Illinois might love you for it. But you would start seeing more and more, if Republicans and conservatives stood up to this kind of crap and started actually pressing for laws to be upheld. I mean, because after all, if we've got all these laws, why aren't we using them? If the laws aren't meant for little people. Well, I know that's what the left wants you to do. Hey, laws are for the little people, not for us. But we can't afford this. These people have got to go back to their home country and wait their turn and wait in line and come here legally like everybody else does. Now, most Republicans, as well as most Democrats, don't have a problem at all with legal immigration. We don't have a problem with it. What we dislike is illegal immigration. What we dislike is a bunch of illegals coming here to protest this country using their home flag, holding up written signs that say, make the USA more like Mexico, or make the USA more like El Salvador, or make the USA more like Venezuela. If you want the USA to be like that, then just go back to your own freaking country. The country that you escaped. Because if we were more like your home country, then you wouldn't want to come here. Maybe that's the secret. We probably stumbled onto something there. Maybe we should. Maybe border states like California and Arizona and Texas and New Mexico and Florida should be more like the home countries of where the illegals are coming from, which would be Cuba and Mexico and El Salvador and Guatemala and Venezuela. Maybe we should then they wouldn't want to come. Because why would you risk all of that, life and limb, to go to a place that's just as bad as where you left? In any case, the Florida town booted food truck over offering meals to hurricane survivors after nearby restaurant complained. Yes, mayor says the town doesn't ban food trucks, but only allows them on certain days. And that's one rule that can't bend even in the wake of a major hurricane. Government out there looking out for your best interest. Oh, we're only going to feed you on certain days. Because even after a major hurricane, we're not going to bend the rules at all. Why do they even have the stupid rules in the first place? Well, it's called crony capitalism. Because somebody complained, well, I got this restaurant with this big overhead, and this food truck doesn't have that kind of overhead. Well, you know what? You want to compete with the food truck that's out there in front of your restaurant? How about you offer food that's just as good as the food truck does in your own food truck and put your food truck out in front of your building? How about that? How come nobody ever thinks, if I were a restaurant owner and and food trucks were making inroads into my community, I wouldn't be going to the city council trying to ban food trucks. Are you kidding me? I'd be the perfect one to be able to put food trucks on the road. I'd have 2 or 3 of those puppies with my restaurant name on it. And I'd be directing people back to my eatery, my brick and mortar building as well. Have the food trucks have a little bit different food, but just as good as the stuff that's and say, hey, you want the real sit-down stuff? Come to my restaurant. Come to the sit-down restaurant, not just the food truck. Nobody even thinks of this. If food trucks are so cheap and so easy to run, why aren't restaurants putting more food trucks on the road instead of having independents out there? So we have a few days after Hurricane Irma blasted through the town of Green Cove Spring, Florida, Jack Roundtree drove his Triple J's barbecue truck downtown to give residents a hot lunch and hand out free barbecue to utility workers trying to get the power restored. He is even selling his barbecue. He's handing out free barbecue to utility workers. It didn't take long for the cops to show up, however. According to a news website called Clay Today, which is part of Green Cove Springs, for the community south of Jacksonville, Florida, the cops told Roundtree his food truck had to go. City manager's orders. Yes, Roundtree didn't have a permit to operate in Green Cove Springs, and not even in the aftermath of a devastating hurricane was going to stop the city government from enforcing that law. Oh yeah, everything else is chaos, but hey, we're going to make sure that you people do not get free barbecue because it's against city code. Now, local residents witnessed the incident and later posted on Facebook about it, about the how do you look people in the face and tell them, we're not going to feed you today? Seriously, how do you do that? We are not going to feed you today because today, even though there was a hurricane, you can't do this. You can't have, you can't violate government regulation, because without government regulation, what good is society? Right? So you can starve before you can have a food truck after a hurricane. That's what regulation is good for.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we have here, before we have to get out of here, we're really winding down pretty damn fast. Roy Moore, Judge Roy Moore, Alabama Senate candidate Judge Roy Moore waves a gun on stage during a rally before closely watched runoff down in Alabama. Yesterday, Moore, the fiery Alabama Senate candidate who was considered the front runner in yesterday's closely watched Republican runoff, did pull off the win even after on Monday he pulled out a gun out of his pocket, a little revolver, at a campaign rally in Fairhope in an effort to show that he believed in the Second Amendment, because the left or the leftists in the Republican Party was trying to say that Judge Roy Moore was not Second Amendment friendly. Here's a guy that was, that was getting into trouble left and right as a judge by not removing the Ten Commandments, for one. So here's a guy who was very constitutional, and they were trying to portray him as not being constitutional. Even Donald Trump was endorsed the other candidate who lost by 55 to 45%, 10 points. It's a 10-point spread. Trump's endorsed candidate got crushed. Now there's a story out there that says that Trump appointed the president doesn't get to appoint a senator from a state. He didn't do that, but they said Trump appointed him. So this guy is out there supporting the Second Amendment and supporting the Constitution. And the voters of Alabama seem to, at least the Republicans seem to want him, and he could very well win in the election coming up, special election coming up. But Maxine Waters, the Mad Max is what we should call her. She's out there still calling for the impeachment of Trump. Now it is over the NFL kneelers, because Trump doesn't like people kneeling at the NFL, disrespecting our nation and our flag. That's reason for Maxine to call for more impeachment hearings. Impeach Trump over NFL kneelers. You need to impeach him now. Impeach him yesterday. Impeach him today. Impeach him tomorrow. Impeach him until he dies. And even after he dies, impeach him. That's all Maxine is on. The woman she's certifiable in my book. It's certifiable. I don't know how else you say it. When you run out there and you say that the president needs to be impeached for standing up for the country and denouncing people who seem to be disrespecting the country, that tells you everything you need to know about the left, or at least that person. Yeah, okay, so how about we impeach Maxine Waters? Can we do that? Can we impeach her? Can we get rid of her? Finally today, Facebook underclass. As staffers enjoy lavish perks, contractors barely get by. You've probably heard this story before. As some of the most desirable employees in Silicon Valley, Facebook has built a small town square for staff at its headquarters in Menlo Park. After leaving the car with a valet attendant, employees can work out at the gym, take their bikes for a tune-up, drop off their dry cleaning, pop by the company dentist or doctor's office, play video games in the arcade, or even sit down for a trim at the barbershop. But keeping all of those amenities running requires an army of subcontracted contingent workers, including bicycle mechanics, security guards, and janitors. But as a janitor at Facebook, Maria Gonzalez is part of that battalion. She said she liked working at Facebook and didn't resent the engineers and product managers she cleans up after. She says, I just want fair pay, though. They're not paying him anything over there at Facebook. I thought they were supposed to all be fair about all this stuff. Really? Aren't they supposed to be all be fair? Fair pay? No $15 minimum pay over there, is there? No, at Facebook, no. The contractors, no, not getting the $15 How hypocritical is that? Well, it is. Well, we're out of time for today, folks. We'll be back in 21 hours. Tomorrow is Military Tribute Thursday. You don't want to miss that. Until then, we will be off the air. So have a wonderful Hump Day Wednesday afternoon. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.